changes to agendas, or we pretty much?
I just have two things to inform the commissioners during that time.
What's that?
I just have one thing to share at the appropriate time.
Okay.
Neither one will probably need action at this point.
Okay. Then I guess we'll move on to minutes. Does everybody have a chance to review minutes?
No, I didn't copy them. I didn't. The agenda. I did the agenda, I didn't do the minutes.
Oh. This one, maybe it shows packet, that's how you get it. You click on
Oh,
that.
it's a packet, okay.
Or you can click on the link in your agenda.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't.
You can see it like in advance. It's like kind of reading it.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to accept minutes for Wednesday, March 6th as written.
So moved.
Have a second.
A second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Peggy, you have something for us?
I did Chase was first.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
We just fit him in if we got time. He's a real gentleman.
This is the AAA audited financial report. You know, the committee on the board for you. And if I understand it right, you all have to have it in order to match whatever funds you match for them. So looks like it was in pretty good
I
shape.
didn't realize they had recent value.
Yeah.
Is that new this year, or?
No,
Is
no.
what I've used in the past?
That's who they use. So anyway, that's their report. Other thing I thought I'd share with you is we got our Medicare certification number. So finally, I mean, it's taken that long, so that means that we'll start the Medicare process. My goal is second or third week in April to get that. I've got to get some things ramped up in order to do that. All the budgets that we put together last year to make it happen. So we have a few challenges in there, but that's what we're working towards. So, yeah.
Well, it's a new program, so it usually takes a little bit longer for.
It will, and there's a learning curve. You know, we've got some training to do. Everybody understands that we've got to sort of reassess every one of our residents and see who is eligible for maybe some different benefits than what they've been getting since we weren't Medicare certified. So, work on that. And then I think probably our biggest challenge will be the office piece, trying to get that figured out. We had hired someone from inside to do that, it didn't quite work, and something else, and so that will be the biggest challenge. We budgeted for it, but the challenge will be finding someone that fits within an office and fits with caregiving at the same time, because we become jack of all trades. So, probably the biggest
we decided to reschedule. We were supposed to have a meeting last Tuesday. Trey was out of the country, so we rescheduled so that the city can actually be a part of the committee. And so it's tomorrow at 9, and she said she wouldn't be able to make 9 o'clock. So, but everybody has the agendas, the matrix. Nobody has subsequently opened the contract that they've requested, a copy of the proposals from Devin Bond, Waste Management. Nobody can really open them in email because they're large files and they get screened out on like company firewalls. So, like, Frank and Bushmeyer couldn't open them because their security doesn't allow them to. But I mean, yes, they can look at the proposals, but we already have a contract, so it is kind of after the fact. But you don't want to hear about it.
I don't really see that. Except, I think we just got to move forward and maybe they won't look at it. But
Well,
I can't see anything. I can't see anything. If Devin or if Waste Management wanted to do the recycling, there is a potential, but their quality standard is so low. I don't think there's any difference.
No, and
because I can't remember. Wasn't it 5% or less?
theirs was 10%.
10%.
It was rejection load.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't have one, especially for the first year. So, but it's just I get cited for Open Record Act one more time. I'm like, well, we have a contract. It's open record. Well, so is the census from 1950. What does that have to do with the privacy of China? I mean, you can look it over, but we did our job. I mean, it's just more, yes, you can have it, and you can pick at, well, you guys didn't evaluate this right, or didn't evaluate that. We did our job. So, yeah, there's that. But, one thing that I did want to discuss was, and I totally spaced on Carmen copying and sending the public policy analysis or matrix to you guys, because one thing that the committee is strongly leaning towards, at least so far, but until we have our discussion tomorrow, we won't know, but they do really lean towards going towards the tipping fee. And I've already said, we can't do a tipping fee overnight. It's going to take a year at least to get ready, to have facilities and everything in place to do it. But if they do decide that that's their advice, or because they're an advisory committee, if that's what they advise, then it will represent a little bit of a budgeting thing for 2014, because it is going to cost quite a bit. So just wanted to, that's the way the discussion goes tomorrow, and that's where they want to take it. Just a little heads up that that might be something that we have to budget for in 2014, which isn't a bad thing, because we have to replace the scale anyway, and the city said they're willing to put together, go in on a scale, as long as it's, bid it out, and, oh yeah, the upper scale. I didn't even think of the lower scale. But they would go in on the scale house if that facilitates a tipping fee or, help them do it.
I think you got to put the feelers out. I can tell you how many countries that have not put tipping fee.
Nobody wants to pay for trash, but everybody uses it.
Yeah,
So.
but I don't think that's the point. It's just a matter of what's happened in the past. Now, I know there's a lot of counties that get by with it, but the thing I've learned is that there's more people on the outer shop, that there's more people using this assessment fee than there's just a lot. That's the table I said at the last meeting, 4 people there, 2 of them used the assessment, or actually 3 out of 4 used the assessment. One of them used the combination.
I have, because I did take your advice, that I have 28 peer-sized counties, and Rice, Marion, ourselves, McPherson, and Harvey. Harvey has like 3 or 4 different types of fees.
Yeah.
But they're big enough that, they can do that. But if you have a a third of all counties in the state, and of that third, it's not like we're the only ones, so. And we're the cheapest subsequently. Our $61 base rate is a lot cheaper than the other ones, so.
Well, the ones that, they have 96.
I wonder who they use as a consultant.
I don't, yeah, I think that's just 96 straight across the board. They don't have much industrial business per se, so I mean, it's pretty much all residential. So they don't have to deal with the issues, the diversity that we have to deal with here.
Yeah, right.
And that's the situation that we're in here, so.
And I did mention in that little rubric, 2 suggestions that I would do to the solid waste fee to actually make it better for everyone, so, yeah, we'll probably discuss that tomorrow, and we'll see what happens with the discussion, but just a heads up, because we might need to budget for 2014 for a scale anyway, but if we want to go the tipping fee route, it's gonna be
Yeah,
a
we
lot more.
budget there, I think we'll put it out again, then too. It wouldn't have to be a big scale, but you'd have to have a scale out there.
You would, and you'd have to have an attendant, and
Then you know something about the kind of like,
no. No, we don't wanna measure everyone else's trash.
I had 2 people already jump me about not closing that.
We got a little bit of time here, here for next one. Shelley, do you have something for us?
Well, just basically to introduce myself, I think we have to Mr. Fellows, I'm Shelley Hudson, Community Corrections, nice to meet you. And then our new gal is just looking to go straight right into.
Anything they wanna do about the skill?
Last week. And,
Did you get the email you were sent about the rubric with the, looking at the property tax sales tax, tipping fee?
I didn't look, I think I got that.
Yeah.
One thing, because somebody had asked me to do like an evaluation of
Yeah.
all 4 possibilities, and with the tipping fee, I did mention that if we wanted to go to a tipping fee to pay for the solid waste, we have to make a major investment in our scales and our scale house. Computer system for billing, I mean, we'd have to overhaul, but it is possible. So if they wanted to do that, $1,000? $100,000? No.
To me, it's just, it's like going in there, how much evidence-based practice that they're utilizing is not happening. So I don't know what FY 15. Something that I might start looking at and talk to you guys about. That'd be good.
Thank you.
Thanks, nice to meet you.
You have something?
Just before we start, when Jack gets here, I have something else.
Okay.
But how long's yours?
You was here first.
I'm gonna be here a while.
So why?
Okay. I have a record list, we have a fire and what's on. Effingham, connection with Lewis, water got in it, burnt the radio. Got to replace the radio.
$1,726.
Effingham, fire in Effingham. Prior to that, we thought that it was just not responding because when it's cold, when it's under 30 degrees, they don't want to respond very well. And so we thought when it warmed up that it would start responding again. No. The connector on the bottom of the enclosure has gotten loose, and so water has gotten in there, and then the radio was trying to transmit through that, and it's burned it up. That's just what grade school. Oh, and then I have the monthly noxious weed report. For February.
Doesn't seem explained,
Not too much. Asphalt and chemical though,
Yeah.
I see.
well, thing, if it starts blowing up, like I said, there's gonna be things that start getting up here pretty soon.
Do our first show then. And then April 1st is our next show, I believe.
Just for us.
Yeah. Usually about 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I read that last year, they, somebody was trying to make and then ship you, which is good.
That's all I have, so, exactly.
27th. They wanna see what the possibilities are on Cloven River Road
All day, or what was it?
from 8 to 12.
One business on there.
Where they can close it from.
I believe, I know the city was gonna be involved, I think, like at one of the boat ramps, I'm not sure which one. And then all the way up to, the end of our table, so like across the Lincoln Creek.
Good long breaks.
Yeah, very long.
For 4 hours, is that one business with, I mean, the quarry up there is one business.
We're not open on Saturday.
Not on Saturday.
The only other one would be Miss Zeus, but that would be in the city, so that would be in the cities. Yeah.
I've never done something like this before, you've done it longer.
I have in town certainly.
I know, yeah,
And just that block in front of the water, they don't shut it for the whole race course, they don't shut it for.
They shut down.
Of course they do. Break
Start of it and the finish of it,
Yeah.
so they can kind of, they're going to the wrong side.
No, but they only shut down the one block, they don't shut down the whole route.
I don't think so. It was shut down last year. Several blocks were shut down, I thought, during the race.
The whole route.
Well, they had, well, if you're crossing intersections, if you're going down like Kansas 6 or 7th was like, I mean, everything's like blocked off. Like when you're doing. Now, some of there was a car that slipped through that almost hit a couple people. That's probably why they shut it off in the route.
That was a special, what was that?
A million. Yeah. So you got liability.
Was it any way to shut down the line? Flag it?
I don't know, you gotta keep the traffic on one side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 hours on a Saturday.
I don't know.
you start at 4, I'll be done at 8. I like 4 to 8.
Well, I told him, I'd come up and talk to you about it, I guess we need more information, he might call him and have him come up and explain exactly what they wanna do.
You said it's BC, that happened?
Yeah.
We don't have any main card in it,
I don't think so.
that's the only thing overtime, so.
I think it's probably something in the matter of setting us some code.
Yeah, that's the thing, we don't have those codes.
They'll get a lot of cones for 3 miles.
Well, and it's dark. I mean,
Basically-
pretty much all you need.
Basically shut it down, we'd have to shut it down at the,
Nothing else that's-
county line, and then they'd have to detour just north of Dawson, there's a road that you can come back around, but I thought it would be inconvenient for, I don't know how many people use that road on Saturday, for sure. But I'm sure somebody will.
That's near the end of April. It could be kind of busy on farming time. Not that there's gonna be tons, and this takes one too, so. I'd make him come up and present the case, but right now I lean against it, so.
I can do that, I can call him up and, see if he could come up and meet with the commissioners and get a little more info, or see exactly what they need, I don't know if they need to close it down, or that's just what they want. I didn't get a lot of information from him either, but that's all I got, so.
Yeah, it's scheduled time to come here and present.
Okay.
about 20 minutes. Going in, coming back at 2:45. Commission, Anderson, Sheriff Jack Lori, Wes Manor, EMS Director Chad Beckley.
Chad.
Beckley. You don't memorize?
I don't know.
Second. All favors, signify by saying aye. Aye.
And then we finally went to St. Joe's, got fixed, right?
So in the midst of that conversation, Wes isn't here, but he showed up with a invoice from a guy in Winchester that had apparently worked on the same issue this very truck had back in June. I called him up, said, you know, here's my situation, please. And he's like, and this was on a Tuesday, he said, well, we might be able to look at it Saturday, start ordering parts maybe the next Tuesday. I mean, so that was what, boom, I was just running into brick wall after brick wall. And when talking to Leroy Foster, he said, we send all of our 6.0 stuff to the Quick Lane Tire and Auto people. So I called, excuse my voice, so I called Wade down there, and he's like, yeah, can you get it here? He said, we'll start on it tonight. And, I mean, that right there was like the ray of hope that I needed, because that whole little situation was kind of a quandary in itself, but very easily was it handled. I mean, we had a call that we needed to be going on, and was able to dispatch the Atchison truck. Thankfully, they were on the call, they handled it. Another call in that time frame had come in, and we had a third truck crew available. They handled that and ended up getting canceled en route to that call anyway. So it could have been a little crazier than it was. We were able to get the loaner truck over, get it switched out, things were moving. Tow guy, Brent, called our buddy, Scott Bartlett. He said, yep, I'm on my way back from the peak, I'll be right there to get it. And he was there within an hour and picked it up. So, I mean, I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of how crazy it gets when you have a truck, boom, that won't start. It's not like, well, I guess we'll.
Is it resolved? I've heard it's had 2 other starting issues.
It has had 2 other starting issues which were not related to, that was the fact of somehow which I still want to be vigilant in keeping track of it, because apparently it was part of the inverter. That is also in conjunction with the battery conditioner, the onboard battery conditioner. That all got shut off for some reason. I don't know if it tripped or if the switch got manually flipped down. It is a pain to get to, so I can only imagine that it tripped. And we started it, it was the next shift that came on after me. We started it, I checked it, everything was charging and working fine, but it, you know, invariably something caused it possibly to trip. And we have, you know, some things that are plugged into the 12 volt to charge, and to like a cooler to keep our refrigerated medication cold, things like that, drain the battery to the point where we can start. They were able to get a charger on it and took care of the problem. So kind of with what I handed out to you guys is just like I said, is our vehicle maintenance policy. It's just kind of broke down and spelled out how we want to do things and how we want to keep in contact with you guys in whatever shape or form. It states how we're going to use checklists, how we're going to have a designated person in our organization here in Atchison County that's going to be, you know, deemed our vehicle maintenance officer. And that person can just oversee certain things and be the person with the contact information and have me a phone call away as well, because I'm a plethora of, since I've been doing this so long with these trucks, I can make a call and usually know something within a matter of a minute or 2. So that guy's going to be, or gal is going to be in direct contact with me. We'll have vehicle maintenance tracking forms. A lot of this stuff will go into place once the new trucks are here. I mean, obviously I've got a little ditty on Medic 2, which is the Effingham truck, but once we start out with 2 new trucks, everything's going to be, you know, followed to the T with this. It's really been difficult having a different VIN number come in, a different VIN number go out, you know, so it's just been, so breaking it down on severe duty, standard duty. The only reason I threw standard duty in there is we could call that, I'm sorry I didn't print you guys off anything like this, but, the park car could fall under the standard duty. We're gonna give everything an identification number, and if it has an altimeter, we'll keep track of that. We'll just, you know, just do basic stuff of how we're gonna do preventive maintenance and do a preventive maintenance schedule on things to make sure that we're keeping track of everything the way it needs to be kept track of. Definitely we'll do monthly reports or reports on whichever you guys are requesting. And these will be digitalized too. I can easily email all this stuff in too, so.
I think the contract called for quarterly reports.
Yeah, quarterly response. I can do it however.
Would there be any reason we want it more frequently than that?
This initial I kind of enjoyed.
I'll definitely give you guys, I'll give you the first month, dude. Definitely will give you the first month.
You're not talking about like issues, you're talking about.
There are two sets of reports. There's one on, the calls are to be monthly, but the maintenance is to be quarterly.
Oh, okay.
But with the new trucks coming, I really want you guys in tune to how it's working out. You know, if nothing else, I'll send you guys at least an email and say, things are going slick. You know, we've already put 15,000 miles on this truck and it's working out great. The other nice thing is, not to take business out of the county, but I do have a really good resource with Foster Ford because they are a Ford dealership and they will be able to do all of our warranty work. They love the gas engine. They have no problem doing any of the maintenance work on it.
Two guys that work with there from Madison.
Right. So, yeah, exactly, you know, so that's, you know.
I got reminded of that.
I will not solely rely on them. One of the guys that works for us is somehow related to the dealership. There's a Chevrolet dealership here in Ashton. I'm gonna talk to them. A lot of times those guys will say, hey, we'll do your service work, that kind of stuff.
They'll cross, sure. Yeah.
Usually any type of
Party line.
warranty work or things that have to be done specifically to the Ford dealership. That's, you know, have been wonderful to work with. And if it's, like I said, if it's a drop dead thing, they'll say how soon can you get it here for us, and they'll stay late and work on it past it. You know, we'll be implementing, obviously on helping you guys get on a schedule years down the road of replacement guidelines, whatever, and getting that implemented. I guess an addendum, if you will, is the vehicle use checklist, and this could change. You know, we've already had some people say, that doesn't really flow good, whatever. But we're definitely going to have daily, you know, at least a hands-on daily truck check. People will be able to go in, and these are the things that I want them to follow to at least make sure that, you know, everything is being taken care of. The next one is the tracking form. It's something that's easy for me to fill out, and I went ahead and filled one out on, and I believe I attached it to that on Medic 4. We did have some work to do on it. We took it over to Foster. We called them and they said, we told them they had brakes or something's wrong with it. Doesn't have a good brake pedal. So I went ahead and filled one of those out and attached it to that so you kind of know what it looks like of how, you know, how it was taken care of, how it was handled, and then how we'll be able to track it. And then the last one is just my kind of my monthly stats report, and that's the thing that I have chicken scratch on here, but yours is filled out on the computer on how I can break it down, and I can attach the tracking forms with them and send them to you guys by email, so you know what the heck's going on with these trucks at any given time, even if it's midway through the month and you're like, hey, I heard, shoot me an email or give me a call and I'll email whatever you want right away. But that's basically in a nutshell. I'm not trying to reinvent any wheels. I'm trying to keep it very simple so we can keep it easily handled within our own organization.
How often do you guys rotate out your vehicles?
What I like to do is I like to get on like an oil change schedule even when we do an oil change and see the Effingham truck and the Atchison truck, definitely, they're gonna be twins. So there's not gonna be anything unit specific to that truck, with the exception of maybe a stethoscope or something like that, to where we know one truck's gonna get more miles put on it. So what I do, like in Jackson County, and eventually we'll get going in Osage County, is usually on an oil change rotation. When it comes up for service, it gets rotated to the second out, the other one comes up, needs an oil change, and then they just kinda go that way. And that's kind of in my little pea brain thinking, okay, when the Atchison truck needs an oil change, or it's hit 5,500 miles, and the Effingham truck's still sitting there with 1,500 miles, I'm gonna flip them, and so we can kind of keep consistent mileage, so we don't have one truck getting just worn to shreds and one truck sitting there.
And are you also talking about
Replacement.
like replacement?
Yeah.
One of the
Sorry.
No.
You're fine, it's kinda nice to hear how the.
And that's, that's a whole another aspect that we want to give you guys a timeline on replacements, and I know Jay said this before, it depends on, you can set a mileage, you can set a mileage for it to drop dead at, but yet, a lot of the trucks in the ambulance industry, I mean, you've got some that are, we're having significant trouble with, right now, we hope to be getting on top of, but one that has 58,000 miles on it,
But it has a
Medic 2. So, I guess the point is
It's lucky it's made it that.
some trucks, if they're well taken care of, can go a lot longer than other trucks who have had a rough life, so to speak. But with that being said, though, we have some general guidelines that we're going to get for you guys. It's going to kind of sum up. One of the things we want to do, though, is we want to get an accurate mileage count on average so we can forecast where those trucks are going to be at what particular point in time, so you guys can start planning. That's going to go along with all the other budgetary things that we're going to get for you guys before the summer, so that you guys know what to look forward to, and not only just the trucks, but also the timeline on some of the equipment. We've talked about that before with some of the heart monitors and things working fine, no problem there, but they're
The good thing about
their
that
useful life, and
is we have, 5 of them. When we see 1 or 2 of them starting to do the exact same thing, we know 3, 4, and 5 is going to do the same thing really soon. So that will give us that inclination to say, here's what we need to get.
Med 4 has a lot of it, it's like 200, right over 200.
Well, I mean, you get to the point of marginal rate of return too. How much are you spending on repairs?
Well, the other
versus what?
One really good thing is we've already got 2 trucks in our fleet right now that are going to be the same chassis, engine, and everything else. They've already got 40,000 miles on them, so we're going to be able to look at our Jackson County truck and our Osage County truck.
Yeah, he's talking about our current V10s.
The current V10s that we have.
Gassers that we already have.
Oh, okay.
They're setting the pace for these other 2.
What these may be.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have 3. But
You
yeah,
guys are guinea pigs on them, so we'll know what we
Yeah.
got. We got bigger lemons than the 6 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's what we want. I mean, we need to kind of have an inventory of what, whether it's heart monitoring, equipment, and of course the vehicles.
Well,
And have a priority kind of a list.
I mean, Medic 4 has over 200,000. Medic 2, God bless its little soul. I mean, it has, it only has 58,000, but
It's a 6,000.
it's showing a few problems. But we need a little more time with it, really. I mean, and then we can come in with some recommendations once we do that to see. The nice part is with the 2 new ones, it's going to put those other 2 in less of a getting pounded every day phase. They're going to, they can go, further back in the lineup, get less miles and things like that. So.
But I can remember telling you guys before we started this is how well we maintain and take care of these trucks. I can make it last a long time, believe it or not. I mean, I know that's not your goal. Your goal is always to keep the cutting edge, but if we're looking at saving some dollars just to put a little extra effort into things, I mean, and that's what, you know, I think I replied to Mike's email, when I do a replacement on rear brakes, I make sure they look at the rotors, rear seals, if it's time to flush and refill the rear end, that's what we do. I mean, it's take that one extra step, and it's gonna pay dividends in the long run, so that truck's gonna go a little longer.
So now, it looked like it was weekly, do you have like a shift or daily checklist?
Yeah,
Or
that's
is it-
definitely, these will be done daily, at every
Okay.
shift change. At every shift change.
And we'll probably, you know, we're planning on starting budget season a lot earlier than what we typically have, but, you know, as far as, that's why I'm
So
trying to get a
what is
feel
your
for you.
timeline?
Well, you know, you guys are saying like, if we're getting into these vehicles, I mean, you know, you think like in the next 2 months, do you think you'll have a better idea as far as the
Yeah.
next 2 and 4?
Because you
as far
guys,
as the
I think we talked about June before, but I mean, when do you guys need to know by? That's kind of
We talked about it.
part of the
Well, sure, it would be,
So if you get some information.
So next year's just gonna have to show itself again for me, and, but, you know, the guy down there, he rented a good truck, he said, we got running good, but I'm like, it's still a 6.0, you're still looking at when, not if.
Yeah.
What kind of injectors they put back in?
I would assume OE, I think he went back with all OE stuff, so.
That actually can be taken.
Yeah.
Show, please.
There is he highly recommends the St. Joe.
If what, I'm sorry.
If those injectors act up, look at St. Joe deal.
Sure.
We took it up, we took ours up every time, got set up, moving forward. And they put new injectors and fast fuel pump on there, and that truck never really had a bit before. And we've traded it off since, we just had some trouble with it, but we run at 16,000 miles, and they had, when they had 14,000 mile warranty on their injectors. And they said the major problem is that the pump is pumping fuel isn't fast enough for its every injector, it's more the pump. So that's just their
What are the boxes? How are the boxes on those two, on 2 and 4?
As far as remountable, you mean?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. 2's the one less than the last one we've. What did I think? 2's boxes.
Huh?
2's boxes are in good shape.
Yeah, 2's is 4,
I don't-
not so much.
It is
I don't know if
4.
we would recommend, when we do our official recommendations, I don't know if we would recommend 4 for a remount.
For 200-some thousand miles.
Yeah,
it's
sounds like
cheap.
it's 4.
And
Yeah.
it's probably not, it may not have all,
So we're probably, I'm just assuming, we're probably looking at least 1, possibly 2 to replace for at least soon enough, so. And we kinda talked about this, I think last year, we were,
about 70.
I'm just looking at mileage and repair bills turning them out up.
Yeah. We'll get them for you
Sure,
before
I
we
know.
do. I hate to
Sure.
say anything and stop. The other thing is the part vehicle. So the part vehicle, there was a tag issue, and Paul helped get that sorted out, thank you. Getting the tag back to the sheriff and then switching over to a county tag. The part vehicle, you know, things are getting lined on it, we're just waiting for these because the process of these other 2 new emails to get done for the par vehicle to go in. Other than that, when it gets back, it's gonna be, it'll be Ashton County and us, and tied in, just say, although it'll be red. So it'll look a little different than the annual, since it'll all tie in together for the service. I'm trying to think, is there anything par vehicle related other than just waiting on the manufacturer?
What, emblems?
Yeah, that's all gonna be on
That
when
request,
it goes
a couple
in.
people, yeah.
And I've heard that too, you know, they don't know what this, and just for public knowledge, I mean, you guys know, but for public knowledge, it needs to it's gonna have a graphics package on the outside of it, and it'll time in, and then they'll know what it is. But I think right now some people are wondering what the red Durango is doing.
They don't get out of the way the same way they do an ambulance. Seems like just a couple times I've seen it.
So that'll be resolved, as soon as we get done waiting on the ambulances, so.
Okay.
Next thing, so, like I said, we do surveys often, and I guess before we get into comm information, you know, we do this by talking to other entities around, and we want the most authentic report that we can, because from that, if we don't have that, we can't get any better. So there's two things here. One, you know, the other public service entities and the hospital, things are going very well with. We're getting good feedback, good rapport, everything is going really good there. Before Con gets into the, you know, we can't just base everything off that. That's why one of the main things Con does is patient care surveys, where we're actually the crews or the patients taking care of them. We want to know what they think, because that's what this is all about. So before we get into that, though, I would like to open it up to you guys and get feedback from you guys as far as how things are going.
I've heard nothing. I mean, you know, are they filling your tip? I mean, do you have your tip jar?
Well,
filling up?
you always have to wait to make sure. I mean, yeah. I mean,
No, considering what you guys are going through, I've not heard any bad repercussions. I mean, the only thing, you know, when a couple people wondered how that, by not having a 3 full-time ambulances, how it's going to work. You guys have shown that you're making it, you know, work pretty effectively. And otherwise, you know, I think it's awful early, but so far the news is good. So that's all I have.
I haven't heard anything of the response time. I'm surprised. To me, that looks excellent. The response time.
So if you hear it from the person, it always seems longer than it is until you pull out the black and white.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard anything bad at all. I mean, I think there's some concern about nighttime response time in Atchison, you know, how many shifts, and then the fly car, there's been some questions. I mean, it was unmarked, and I think there's just been some people, what is that, or, you know, there's also, you know, at the same time, we've got unmarked ambulances too, so there's some concern about getting into a generic ambulance makes you kind of,
and then at the city meeting, we told her, this will be cleared up,
by February.
Right, so we're behind the time, the manufacturer's behind the timeline, but, well, so, you know, the next thing is, Con, can you share some, like, kind of how you go about?
Yeah. Every month in each of the services, it's not specific to one, I have the software system that we do our patient charting on, spit me out a list of about 10% of our responses. And just pull the chart real quick, review it, make a phone call, talk to the patient or parent, you know, if it's a minor or something like that. And just, it's nothing formal. There's no, on the scale of 1 to 5, rate us on this, this, and this. It's just a quick, simple, informal phone call. Tell me what you liked. Is there something you didn't like? Did something go really well that you want us to keep doing? Or do you have an idea on something that maybe we should do differently? And I found that, you know, a quick 5-minute phone call, we can cover a variety of topics. By and large, everybody said, you know, they're great, I appreciate them, I really like this, or, you know, and I've used it as a chance to have some patient education on the topics of why did a red Durango show up, or that type of stuff, because some of the patients have asked questions from time to time of, you know, why only one medic showed up initially, and we talked about those things, and I've done that on scene as well with some patients when I responded to the paramedic waiting on the other ambulance to come over from Effingham saying, you know, this is the system, the other ambulance was out on a call, I'm here, you're getting the same care, they're going to be here within a few minutes, and, you know, once they realize what's actually happening, they're good with it. And you know, when it's not so serious of a situation, it's more relaxed. They can look at the objective side of, you know, hey, that is a good use of my tax dollars, thank you. That is a good way to help be conservative, yet get me a high level of care right away. And, you know, we explain to them those things. We talk about things that maybe they would like to see us do differently. By and large, they don't have a lot of suggestions, but we take the things that they really like and we emphasize those.
occasionally somebody comes up with something that, you know, maybe next time consider doing this. And so I'll talk it over with them and say, okay, what would you like to have happen? And we go into a little more detail, a little more lengthy conversation. And then we can take that and troubleshoot it and brainstorm it and how we can make it work. You know, sometimes expectations, as you very well know, the public's expectation does not meet what you can do. And on a rare occasion, we encounter that, but usually, even with an idea, we can take and mold it into something that
we can do better.
That we can do better and make the system work smoother.
Yep.
And having said that, like I said earlier, it's not just isolated to Atchison, it's all of our services, that if something happens that a patient says, hey, you know, we'd really like to have seen this happen differently in one of our other services, and we brainstorm it and we bring it to reality, that's something we can look at implementing here and vice versa. An idea that was given to us last month, we brainstormed, we've implemented, and we've shared with the other 3 services so that ultimately all of our patients, all of our paramedics and EMTs will get better. And we could sit here and say everything's nice and rosy and we can fill out the questionnaire with all stars and everything's great, but until you actually sit down and talk to somebody and say, what is it that you really liked or really didn't like, and let's talk about it. That's how we start making ourselves better. Because we can build an elaborate system that's greatly expensive, but if the patient doesn't like it, what good have we really done? So I think keeping the patient perspective involved in all these decisions that we make is what will drive us to be better clinicians and better care for the citizens. So.
Yeah, not only that, but the other part I really like about this is, you know, the twofold is kind of the bad and the good, so it critiques things to make things better, but the other side of it is that, like, for our crews, you know, when they get those great reports and things like that, he gives feedback to the crews about, you know, job well done and things like that, and really, it just helps the whole service. Yeah, it just helps the whole service-wise.
Everybody sees that, hey, we're doing better than we thought we were.
Well, it lets us know also that, hell, he's calling the patients, finding out how good of a job he did or nothing did. I mean, that puts that in perspective as well.
I think there's a lot of people that would rather do not that we would like to telemarket, there's people calling for service, but I mean, I think they appreciate being able to communicate in verbal sense of what they're sitting, rather than a 1 to 5.
Exactly, and I just sat down with them as soon as they answered, and I verified who they are, and said, I'm Con, I'm one of the administrators of the ambulance. If you've got a minute, I'd like to talk to you about how well the crew did for you while they were there. And they say, yeah, sure, great, let's talk. Well, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. You know, sometimes they don't want to talk, and I respect that. And thank you for your time, and if you have any problems, feel free to give us a call back. So, you know.
I'm trustee Peggy for a neighbor kid that's on assistance, and his blood sugar gets low, he goes into a coma. And if he calls for an ambulance and he does not go into the hospital, I have to write a check, but if he goes into the hospital, it would be paid for. Do you have information on people, or do you give that information, or can you say, you know, if you're on assistance, you're ready to go, or do you keep track of people that's on assistance that you've taken in prior?
We don't keep track of somebody's ability to pay or not pay, per se. Every time we go out and take care of somebody, we're there regardless of that as an advocate for them as a patient. So, no, we do not. I mean, we don't keep, there's a suggestion.
Yes, I think, you come up to that on my place that one time, and that boy was a neighbor kid. I'm sure it was you. You give him some kind of shot, and boom, he just got really busy. But I was unaware of that till he did that 2 or 3 times.
That, I think what you're referring to is CMS, Medicare, Medicaid. Yes. They haven't figured this out yet, ironically, but in that case scenario, we can go out and we can treat somebody and leave them there, and CMS does not want to pay that. They would rather have the cost of the ambulance transport to the hospital, they would rather have the ER visit, they would rather have all of that stuff, and pay all of that instead of, yeah.
Instead of like, we can just treat them.
We've talked about that issue a lot, and how to deal with it. So, what questions do you guys have? I don't want to take the whole afternoon off, but,
I think we got pretty much everything.
Anything?
Quarterly reports are going to be, the quarterly reports are just gonna show.
they're predominantly the vehicle reports.
I think it was just, yeah, I think it was just mileage. Maintenance that was done,
Okay.
it was really pretty short in the contract.
And then do we have like annual or semi-annual? I can't.
We have an annual report on that, and take a picture.
Okay.
And we can come up anytime. I mean, you know, if set things are great, that's fine, you know, but we can come up, this calls come up, or, you know, if you want us to digitally send stuff in, if a lot's going on with you guys, whatever you guys want to do for us.
Yeah, keep us posted on the vehicles.
Definitely. Well, we'll be here with them.
We'll be speaking on.
Yeah. We'll get a date when they get here, and we'll come up on Monday or Wednesday, we get in session and bring them up, or one at a time.
Yeah, and we talked about, a while back to do like a open house, possibly probably at both. Have we gotten any further? I know everybody's been busy with vehicles and
It's probably gonna be, I think.
spring.
There's,
Spring
talking
time.
about station lights?
Yeah, like station, yeah. Well, I think we
Yeah.
talked about doing both, I mean, just since it's the whole
Yeah,
surface and.
yeah. Now,
No.
is that what you were gonna say?
I'm probably doing Effingham would love to show up.
Effingham, great. We need to talk to Wes. Hey, this ball, I think, was in Wes, initially, it was in Wes's court. We need to talk to him about where the plans are at for Atchison. Unless you guys care to share. But
What's that?
Building.
the station one is in Atchison.
We're not quite there.
We're not there yet, right, okay,
Sure.
so, and so like, yeah, an open house in Effingham, great.
We have EMS week in May too, that'd be
Yeah.
a fun thing to get everybody together.
Would you wanna wait though until
It's nice and warm and we can.
Yeah,
next
well,
year?
I'm just, and we can,
On the
I know what you're
Atchison
saying
one,
about
you know
the
what?
facility, I mean, I'm just thinking about like meet the people and, yeah, it's a great community booster.
Right.
And we're planning some healthcare with the.
You don't necessarily have to do it there, you can try, you can do it
Oh, yeah, yeah, we're actually,
outside or.
we're already planning on, staffing up for some of the big events that are coming up. and-
Juneteenth.
Yeah, we're already working on plans for, yeah, and I, you know, Chad's done a great job of, you know, we have a lot of employees that have been here a while, and we also have some new employees, some fresh blood that actually has been in the community and not utilized, and Chad's doing a good job of pulling everybody together, so. But yeah, station.
Yeah, well, we can work around
But
it. I'm just thinking like.
I'm with you, I think maybe this summer, when it first starts, right before school's out, we can have an event, or towards the end of school, we can have an event where we take our trucks out to the schools, take maybe a public event where we have it. We'll definitely get healthcare for the hospital this next year. We've dedicated that, and of course, there's another, the technical school, Highland is doing another health fair, and we've volunteered to help them with that as well. So we'll be in the public eye, and of course, we're giving a truck up for Juneteenth for health protection of that event.
And we can definitely pick like a, you know, plan ahead and do a Saturday or something down at the mall even, and take both
Yeah.
trucks and
That'd be great.
just
We
display them
all the
and.
time, so please, if you know community leaders or whatever, please.
Yep.
We definitely
Let
Durango's
them know.
will have it out there, so you see what the red Durango's all about.
Yeah, once it gets to
We're not pulling them over in the middle of the night.
After decals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decals.
We can
After
run it down.
decals, yes.
And they'll have a great big light bar on it too.
Yeah.
21.
So thank you for understanding us not wanting to show off our station currently.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't necessarily mean like there, but.
And you find.
Crew.
But Effingham, wow, great place.
Yeah. All if you need something, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
earlier, yeah.
And if there's anything major out there, we'll just hold off on Wednesday.
Okay.
If it's just POs or something. I guess, when you guys talked to Ken Wakey, I think he tried to explain to me last night, that's one of the reasons that they wanted to move into this thing, shift wheel.
Trailer.
There is some work inside the house that needs to be done. He said he would do that. There was the bathrooms having some issues, and he thought he could work on that during the summer while they moved in that temporarily. So I said, well, I didn't see any advantage.
Didn't say anything about that.
Yeah, he didn't say, well.
We didn't feel like getting spec on one side.
I know, but we could.
Maybe we should have Joe Bowman take a
look and see.
That, just for safety features, I think you should probably have Joe
Okay.
drop a visit. That'd just be my suggestion.
Well, I didn't get an idea of what he needs for repairs and
Instead of
stuff.
kind of doing stuff on your own, you gotta have some guidance.
Right. Then the other thing, I got a call from Mike Woods, got his township, Center Township. He got an email from Hams and said that the quarry near Moody Creek was open by rock. We never heard anything if that quarry is open. Yeah. There is an old quarry down by Moody Creek.
This one by Moody Creek or Corpus Christi.
They cleared off all the ground, yeah.
So, okay, so the other one hasn't been.
They haven't said anything yet.
Okay. He was gonna check into it and see, so anyway, okay.
Is that one in Atchison County or is it
Jefferson.
It's in Jefferson, so it doesn't have any.
Like Rogers Road or something.
Just east of the Mooney Creek Church.
You haven't heard anything from him?
What?
Yeah, actually, I talked to, can't think of his name there, about,
Ramon?
couple, no, it wasn't Ramon, it was another guy I talked to before. He called me and told me that Mooney Creek was open also for rock, but I asked him about the quarry south of, Cummings, and he says they're still wanting to do it, and he said possibly they're looking at towards the end of the summer, maybe. Right now they have a portable crusher down at Mooney Creek, and he said when they got everything crushed up there, they would probably move that to Cummings.
On the same vein.
What's that?
On
I'm not sure.
Well, we're still gonna have to address the routing issue. If they do open that up, we have to decide what we're gonna do, where we're gonna route. Because that's the big issue, so. That's all. Other than what I did say, I went to Effingham City Council and explained our situation. Tuesday night, I got a multi-county health meeting
tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, and that's Lancaster's City Council. I didn't know whether one of these guys, one of you, one of them, wanted to go.
I can go. I have a housing authority board meeting at 4:30, but we'll be done at 5:15.
I can't remember, I think it's 7:30, and the mayor usually doesn't show up till about 7:31 anyway, so you'll be okay. And basically I just told them, our situation, that, we'd like to know for sure what we're getting this year, and then, next year, we're going next year's budget, we'd probably look at trying to sign a local agreement, would like to do that, so we could, until we, decide exactly where we're gonna go with the sales tax. So, Effingham was very open, they understood. They said if anybody's in our position, they'd like to know where it's at too, so. I'm going to Muskogee tonight. So I just got hearing left after that. If we could even cover Lancaster, then I'll have here.
Where is it?
It's at their community, they're across from where the school was.
Okay.
Kansas?
I know where the old school is.
It's right across the street.
It's a metal building. Big parking lot.
Big parking lot.
Yeah, it is about middle.
Yeah, about 30 minutes. Yeah, I can't, what is it?
Is it Kansas?
Third.
Yeah.
I can't remember what, street that is.
He said 7:30.
I can tell you it's one of my polling places.
You gave me put an HGP in.
Matt, you have some, what do you have?
That solid waste meeting is nothing. Well, yeah.
301 Kansas.
301.
On Kansas Street.
Thank you.
Just kind of a heads up, we did have a person try to dump some out of county waste out at the transfer station the other day, a load of shingles, and they weren't extremely upset, but I just want to give you a heads up because they said they might come talk to the commissioners about it. So one of my guys actually lives up towards Portland, actually followed them from Portland to the transfer station one morning. Their complaint was that their business is located in Ashland County, and they thought that should give them the right to bring out of county waste because they're paying Ashland County taxes. But I informed them that wasn't the way it worked.
Yeah, you're drawing a pretty fine line, because I had a guy ask me the same thing. His mother has land in Ashland County, she don't use, you know, she thought because his mother paid taxes that he could use.
It was a commercial business.
Commercial business.
Yes.
Well, then you have to try to be in.
No, it was an Ashland County vehicle. But that's always been the policy that we don't accept anything from out of county.
We're sure it originated.
Yeah, he admitted it came. He admitted it was out of county.
That's something we probably have to look at too. I mean, because I know a lot of counties will have different rates from out of county residents. Typically, dumping at
Transition's not really written in out county.
Yeah.
Trash is what it is, or C and D.
Yeah, it's C&D.
Good, you got me going.
Yeah, it's a good thing to bring up the solid waste committee. Cause I mean, I think there's been a lot of discussion about the C&D.
We turned in for a high-risk rural roads grant out on 262 road, for 3 intersections out there, and we got approved for that. So,
That's what, almost up here now.
Yeah.
High-risk road grant?
Yeah, high-risk rural road grant. Yeah.
We did get those?
Yeah, we got.
How much we subbing for, do you remember?
The total project's gonna be around $170,000, and it's a 90-10 split, so we should be around $22,000 on that.
Okay.
So that, sounds good.
Yeah, because we talked about straightening those out, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, making them,
Yeah, instead of the,
taking the pie out of them.
making the T.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let's talk about this one, because I'm confused.
Yeah.
That's not for you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, all right.
I'm irrigating. These two will be here.
All right.
My son has a knowledge bowl, at 4:30. What do you say?
Yeah, see, I got chores to do at 4:30.
I can't stay by myself. 4:30, we're gone.
Go ahead.
I've been talking with KDHE, and they were going to give us that fireproof building. I went and looked at it, and we can get a household hazardous waste grant that will pay, they pay 60%, we pay 40%, and we've been talking talking about moving our household hazardous waste out there anyway. They will give us this building, and, they'll pay 60% if we build our other little building. Also, we'll need 2 separate buildings. And, then also put a used oil barrel out there. And I was talking with them, and, I kinda come up with a plan that I run across them and they thought would be good. We have the little, place where we have the picnic table out there with the roof over it. I don't know if you remember seeing that or not.
At the transfer station?
Yeah. Right on it'd be right on the south side of the building, there's a picnic table, nobody ever uses that thing. And,
My family and I go out there.
yeah, right. Eat all you want, right?
Sport.
But anyway, I brought the idea of putting our used oil barrel underneath that roof and moving the picnic table, because like I said, it never gets used anyway. We could put the fireproof building on one side of it, and then build our other building on the other side of it. And, like I said, this is a guaranteed grant. If we do this, we will get the grants. The only thing we have to do to get it is right now we're a satellite facility. Jackson County is a permitted site. All we have to do is put in for a permit to be a permitted site instead of a satellite site. There's no cost for permit. And
So we'd be responsible though for that, where Jackson County has to come over and pick that up.
Right now they do, but it's looking like we could save quite a bit of money if we got the permit and did it ourselves, because we would have the storage capacity with these 2 buildings to have almost a year's worth of household hazardous waste before we have to haul it off. And we'd be in more control. Like right now, we're taking a lot of like latex paint and things over here, and they just don't have the ability to take care of it. If you let all that solidify, that can go right in right into the solid waste, as long as it's solidified. And we've been paying a lot of money to get that hauled off right now. And I guess they just don't have necessarily the drive to do it because it's not it's not their pocket.
Right.
But if we would move it out there, which we're planning on anyway, I really see no reason, if we could get them to pay for 60%, why we wouldn't jump on it.
Well, what do you look at the cost of the building?
We talked about moving the other building. I went and looked at it, and we might be able to do it, but it's too big to just pick up and move. We would have to tear the whole thing apart. And that's what KDHE, they recommended just building.
Okay, so you're saying build one rather than move the building to get it.
Yeah. KDHE wanted us, if we put up a new building, to put like a 4-inch wall all the way around it so it has containment, secondary containment. The building we're getting from them for free, it's already got that all built into it. All you have to do is have a pad to set it on. It's got secondary containment built into it. I haven't looked at it. I would say to do everything, maybe 20 to 25, somewhere in there.
How big a building?
Just small, like what's over there, like a 18 by 20 or something like that. But then you'd have to pour concrete slab for it to go on. And also, I was going to look into possibly like a can crusher, or they make these little deals you put aerosol cans in, and it empties the aerosol cans into a 55-gallon drum. They're not really expensive, but like I said, they're paying for 60% of it, and how would we define do it?
You empty the aerosol out there.
Yep, you just throw it in the iron pot.
Iron pot, yeah. We do a lot of our, those kind of empty things in there.
It's got a 55 5-gallon drum, and it's got just a little thing on top of it, and, you stick it in there and you pull down a handle, and it punctures it, and it shoots all the contents into the barrel, and then you just have an empty can. Then you don't have to pay to, you know, get it hauled off.
It's no longer hazardous.
Right. Yep. Everything's contained in that barrel.
Right, it's contained.
Yeah. And then, you know, when it solidifies in there, you know.
How big of, used oil barrel are you looking at?
I'd say about 500 gallon probably.
Okay. So I know there's a law out, I mean, KDHE's cracking down now, if you've got any kind of fuel storage or oil storage containers over 1,320 gallons, you gotta have a permit or a plan or something.
Right.
So, will that require having a confinement area built around it?
We would just buy a tank that's got the secondary, containment. You know, it's just like a trough they sit in. That's what we did. That was one thing.
Containment area, is that big enough? I mean, is it, are you gonna be cleaning that
10% of the tank, isn't it?
I believe so.
Oh, that's all it has to be.
110%, it's
110,
500.
so it's gotta be at 6, okay.
Yeah.
Is this something that we should hold off with solid waste, that they come up with a tipping fee or something totally different?
Well, this one got nothing to do with
This
that.
is, yeah,
Road.
no, this won't have anything to do with
I mean, as far as building wise, maybe we need, you know, a scale in front of it, or make it a little bit bigger, or?
Well, I think that if we have to
There's-
do a scale will be out on the road.
Yeah.
That's the only place it can go.
If we do this, it's gotta be done by June 1st. We're on a real tight schedule on this.
To apply for the grant or to build the whole project?
Everything's gonna be built by June 1st.
Permit has to be issued, I mean, do you have to apply for
They'll-
it?
Yeah, the permit needs to be applied for here within a week or so. Because it's gotta run through, it's just like, they gotta have a 30-day, people's gotta look at it and approve it. I know I'm throwing this on you, but it got thrown on me, and I didn't realize we were gonna be able to get this grant, and after talking to KDHE and looking at this building, they came up with this. At first I asked them if there was any grant, and they said no, and then they went and talked to their people, and they actually want it moved away from the recycle center over here, because in a way, I really don't have control over it, and they want it moved out to the transfer station where the county has control over it, because it's not our employees that are dealing with it, and you have to have certain training to do it, whereas I can send my employees to get the training or do it over online, but I can't necessarily tell RSP what to do.
Well,
So they're really pushing for us to get it moved out there because
well, thinking, I'm looking at the cost factor.
Right.
You know, if we get transitioned out of there, say even by 1st of July, there's 9, you know, and so they're done, that's $9,000 savings in what we paid them to go towards that building. I mean, that went bill close to half the building.
Yeah,
Budget wise.
what I'm looking at is we had talked about moving everything out there anyway.
Yeah.
And this is
Well, I
a
think
chance
that's
to
the goal.
get 60% of it paid for.
Yeah, I think that was the ultimate goal is.
An 18 to 20, that's not a very big building, cost $25,000.
Well, that's just a figure off the top of my head. We'll have to have a concrete slab underneath of it with 4-inch wall around it. Put the building on top of it, probably run some electricity, a light, and then we'll have to make a slab, just to set the other building on. Have to run electricity to it. And then also we're looking at a 500-gallon barrel with, and then also maybe some equipment. You know, this is I'm gonna try to get some prices together, and I probably know more Wednesday.
Bring it up.
Because a lot of this I just talked to Jessica Lillard this morning about a lot of this, so I haven't had time to get some good numbers together. But I wanna give you the heads up so you can kinda think about it. But I'm thinking it's a good deal, means we will kinda.
How tall does that building have to be?
Just
8 to
have to
10
walk around it, it doesn't have to be anything specific, just 8 foot ceiling or something like that.
Now, the containment wall, I mean, if you poured say a 2-foot wall, then, and then set the building on that, is that good enough? Or you building a wall, you setting it down on concrete, then building a wall around it?
No, what I was gonna do is, what I was thinking is making the 4-inch curb and setting the building right on top of the curb.
Right, so you got the containment area is within the building?
Yeah.
It's not on the outside perimeter of the building? Okay.
Yeah, because I thought about that, if you put it on outside, it's gonna fill with water, so,
Yeah.
that would be good.
Yeah, that makes, that's the best way to do it, yeah. Bring us some figures Wednesday.
Okay, I'll try to get something together, and like I said, this is guaranteed funding, so.
Yeah, because we'd have to get a bidding process going pretty soon.
Yeah, we have to get on it pretty quick. First thing we need to do is permit going.
I don't think we'd have to bid for that tank, which you know, I think probably.
Right. Yeah, and all we have to
The
do.
concrete.
Yeah, we have to get like 3 bids, but that wouldn't be very hard to do. Same on the concrete work. I was even thinking about putting asphalt down, but, KDHE really wants a lot of concrete with the curb around it. And then, there would be kind of a section in between the building and the concrete, and I figured the county could just go out there and lay asphalt and then make a nice unloading area. So, and she said to put all that, include all that in there, and that would count, anything the county does on there, and that would count towards our 40%. So we could charge the labor and our materials to lay that asphalt, and we could come out pretty good, I think.
You got union labor.
Huh?
You got union labor.
That's right, overtime and holiday pay.
Yeah, we're doing.
Yeah, we'll do it on Saturday.
Put that in the paper, Barry.
Right, camera on. This is just a permit from Century Link to lay some cables to, a couple services out on, what was it, Kiowa and Jewel? Yeah. It's a standard, just like we always do it.
We need us
Yeah, since Jeff's gone, I guess just,
Well,
two of you sign it. That'd be
two
good.
is all you need,
Yeah.
It asks for a member and a chairpersons.
Yeah, I just got a call about the house, I want to say the hazardous roads, just about 1 o'clock or so I just found out about that. You want to take a copy, or do you need?
How many miles stretch of road is that?
It'd be like 3, but it'd just be the intersections. It's the intersection of 262 in Osborne, 262 in Ottawa, and 262 in Rawls.
It's like, how many miles stretch?
Well, that's like a 3-mile stretch, but all they're doing is the intersections.
Yeah.
They're basically what we're gonna do.
Three intersections with a 3-mile stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still need to show you that picture I got.
What's that?
Yeah, put the date on it,
I didn't put no date on it, so.
Oh,
it
okay.
says approved.
All right. fan blade going through the radiator. That's what this is. It is, $6,017.26 for parts for that incident. Yeah, well, yeah, when I called that was just for the radiator. We also had to buy a fan and shroud and a few other little things.
We can talk about it today.
It's already spent, so.
We just took 2 signatures.
Ready for the finale? Not yet.
The finale.
Yeah, the finale. The bridge down on River Road, I got the bill from BG for engineering services on it today.
Can you take that out of official? Did you pull that out of your box, what Melanie said that gas money can't really be used for engineering?
The what?
The gas money,
The gas one?
it's in that special.
That's
I just look at it there.
Cause she said that could be used for roads and something, do you have it?
No, I haven't
You
seen
haven't?
it. I
You
didn't.
might look at that, to see
10,
if you could take your engineering.
20,
Okay.
30,000 for one bridge.
29.5.
Oh, that's just for engineering.
That's just for engineering,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's your territory.
Hey, I give my opinion, the bridge today was down there, it's a waste of money.
Well, how much is the bridge if it's engineering, $29,000?
I forget what the estimate was. It'll be
$250
$253 probably, something like that.
How much?
Probably.
I think it's $274 for the bridge, right?
Yeah, probably something like that. I can't remember exactly.
But that's 90/10, right?
No,
No,
80/20.
80/20. Okay.
Okay, left hand, I have to make you sign it.
Maybe I need to clarify it with Melanie to see if you can do that.
Okay, like I said, I haven't even seen it yet.
I think it's time to start getting bids on that kind of stuff. I think that person that thinks he's got everything in the county, it's time to switch gears.
Well, we do bulk, get bulk, like 10 orders instead of doing it one by one by one.
Well, I think I'm with you. The reason this was something special that BG went out and got it for us, just like that hazardous rural roads, that's something BG went out there and got for us, and I think that's kind of why, we've kind of been leaning towards them, because they're looking for stuff like that for us.
I can see why.
Well, yeah, it's helping us, but it's helping them too.
We come up here to get a sales pitch, I mean, we're.
Yeah, it's just, like Mary said, that's just like the historic bridge. BG went out and got that for us also. So, but yeah.
I realize there are definitely times, but
You gotta be careful when they get it for you, because we had to pay first off on an historical before we got any money back. We had to pay it all,
Right.
which we weren't planning on doing.
So, that estimate is how much?
This is built for engineering fees, this is $29,500.
I knew I should have had the engineer. Dorothy can ask if you make a good engineer, give them a good math, so you think I'm gonna use that for Dorothy, don't you?
I remember the day
Yeah.
she fell off her chair. So, she didn't know everybody saw her, I don't think.
Fall asleep.
Must've been
No, she reached over to get something out of her drawer and slid right off.
She hasn't been known to fall asleep in class, so.
I kind of remember that. Allison and I were the only
Have
the whole
you done
class.
any more shopping on your track hoe yet?
Actually, I've got a couple leads. I found 2 in Springfield.
How many, how old and what's
one was a 06 and one was an 08 with like 2,500 hours, somewhere around there. And they were both just right around 125,000.
You have enough in the budget there.
Yeah, I've been looking too, 'cause I told you, I said Craigslist is on Purple Wave, but you're gonna have to spend 125, 140,000 to get one half,
Well, he has 122. He'll just have to make a.
Yeah, but you got.
Well,
Well, there's 19 left in that special fund too, so yeah.
The one on KDOT sale? I know,
That looked pretty good.
I know. It's up to 22,000. You know the bad thing about that? That I didn't know about it, but, that goes out to, all the counties for 30 days. And I called down there and tried to see if we could get that taken off Purple Wave and just buy it outright. The outright price on it was $20,000 if we would've known about it.
They can't, can they? 'Cause it's.
Not now.
No.
But if we
Yeah,
would've,
that's a good looking mobile. It's a 35-ton one or something like that.
yeah, and it's got the Honda self-contained motor and everything.
Yeah, good heavy looking
Yeah,
truck.
I was gonna bring that up, but I was gonna wait till towards kind of the end of the auction, see where we're at on it, but, yeah, I went down and looked at it. Me and one of my guys went down and looked at it, it's in Topeka.
Yeah.
But it's, the only thing I don't like about it is it's a triple axle. I'd rather have just a tandem.
You got a lot of tire issues.
Got a lot of tires on it.
Well,
But
but yeah,
the-
basically your trip, you got.
The tires are decent on it, but
All right, it looked good, pretty good. Yeah.
you know, it's like a '98 trailer, but it is a good looking trailer. It hasn't been beat up, it's just, you know, KDOT's and up and down the highway.
But still, you'd want, you'd probably want to check the wheel bearings and stuff. I mean, a 98, if they hadn't been changed or anything.
That's how you want to do it.
You got
very in the shop.
Yeah, but that's, we're talking triple axle, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of bearings and stuff to check on. So, yeah, if you can get the track over, that's more, I think. If the low boy doesn't get the track over, does it?
Well, if we get a bigger track though, we're gonna have to have a full boy.
Yeah.
But, there is two real nice track hoses in Springfield that look pretty good. I haven't had a chance to call on
From
them.
a dealer?
Yeah.
You have to give it to a dealer so you can get rid of that.
Yeah.
Where's that? What was that? Where'd you see those at?
Them were in the Machinery Trader magazine. But, you know, Springfield, that's not too far away. So, I'm gonna call about them. Van Keppel, they're supposed to, he said he found one, it's a Volvo. I'm not partial to Cat, but, I haven't even looked.
Cat or Kazoo, because you got that. Yeah, so you got that big dealer, Kansas City service.
Well, Volvo's in Kansas City also, Van Keppel, but,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't know, we've had to do lots of, you know, Cat stuff. I have heard Komatsu's are pretty good hosts also. Well, like, the building we got over here now, all it is one of them car shelters,
Yeah.
that's just, you know,
You know, you want something solid that don't go away,
right.
you know.
I don't know what I'll look into it, but I'm not sure what the cost difference would be between having somebody, you know, stick build a building, or, I know it'd be higher, but.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I tell you another option, because this is, I did this at our church, I mean, you could buy a carport and close it in, and you can get it very high with it.
That's what that is.
That's what that is.
I know, but what I'm saying is you could just have the frame, the footing built, and then have them put a carport on top of it.
Right.
I mean, that's fairly cheap.
I set up one, and I got the straight walls with the game roof, concrete from a decent time. It's not a bad building.
Yeah.
It's a nice building.
Who did you go through? You remember?
Down there at Blackmore, Austin Trailers.
Oh, yeah?
Austin Trailers. It's nice. It's nice. It's a nice building.
Right.
I mean, I think you gotta cut them off, like I said, I mean, that's not a, you know, because actually you can buy the basic frame, you can put the siding on.
Yeah, well, see, that's what they did out there. It was just the frame, and then, EMS went out there and they boxed it in.
Remember, there was 3 Mexicans coming out there, and it was so
Yeah.
cold, I felt sorry for them, so I went and got some hot cocoa. Oh, not till we get done.
Yeah.
Well, that hot cocoa was froze when they got done, they drank it. I
Right.
didn't put that thing up.
Probably didn't take too long, did it?
No.
Pretty much did the whole day.
Oh, really? How big is it?
It's about a 24 by 24 square, and it's got the roof and the gable in.
Do you remember about how much?
I think I got like 5,000 in the concrete and I think the building was like 35 in the concrete.
I'll have to,
I poured concrete.
I'll have to give them a call, I didn't know that that's one more.
Well, anybody can sell them, I think Dillon's can sell them, they just.
Yeah.
You pay that 10% up front, and that's what they get, and the rest goes towards your building.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility, I mean, it's,
You're talking about time, you're talking about stick build, I don't know, of course, some carpenters you can get, but of course the June will be here before you know it.
Yeah, that'd be here quick.
yeah, but you also gotta get that order and get it here, because it took me 4 months when I put my carport up, and they kept saying they're coming, you know, they're gonna penalize you if you weren't there, when they were set up for 3 times, they didn't ever show up. Finally, I had to call them, and one of them was Better Business Bureaus, and within an hour, the Mexican crew, they was in the area, they just weren't ahead of schedule, and they decided it wasn't gonna work.
They told me 2 weeks, and I think it was like 2.5 weeks, they were there, and it was cold that day, cold, mercy. Cold.
Because you gotta get the concrete poured,
Yeah. Yeah, I poured concrete, like 6 or 7 inches thick, with my 2,000 gallon diesel tanks on it. It was really nice.
you wouldn't need a 6-inch, I mean,
They have the existing tank over at, the recycle building, but they've got an oil burner in there. And, I don't know what the status on that was. I guess if we took away the oil,
you mean in the building, there's no oil burner?
they've got an oil burner furnace in
Well,
the.
I mean, if we convert that to, you're not gonna.
Yeah, right.
I thought we were gonna convert that to that.
That's what I'm saying, we wouldn't use an oil burning.
Well, what I was-
recycled oil.
One thing I was thinking about is if we did take it out, we might be able to put it over at the county shop and keep the county shop with it, because we got all kinds of oil over there.
That's before, not that big.
So, if we did that, do you think I should look into getting a new barrel, or just moving that one out there?
I think you're gonna buy to the new place and they're gonna pay what they're gonna pay, I think it's new.
And we'll have a barrel, you know.
And take that barrel to the county shop and use it to heat.
We could, because we've only got like a 250 gallon barrel at the shop, and it's hardly big enough anyway, so we could do that.
Yeah.
Alright, so,
If,
Jesus, great job.
yeah, while he's here, hearing this at your solid waste committee
Right.
meeting, let's go actually look at an operation and see how they do.
Can we have you know, you said the road not one activity, can we have like a combination?
But some counties have that.
That's what we ought to have.
I think Dickinson, which is a very similar county to us in terms of valuation, and maybe they're just a little bit bigger area, but I think they use an assessment fee like $18, I think you said, and that basically covers all residential. But then on the businesses, they're all on tipping.
And then they just, okay, so some people pay an assessment, some people pay a tipping fee.
How do you know which ones they do? I mean,
Don't ask me, we didn't get into great detail, I just visited, I visited with their county administrator, and he just said that they have two different ways, or they have two different ways they fund it.
And like you brought up earlier, if we go to a tipping fee, we would have to put a scale out in there also.
It could be a small, because there's hardly any big trucks pulling there, but.
I wonder if, we could move the small one we have out at the transfer station, out to Effingham.
If
If
it's
we
still
put in a new
certified, if it would.
And it's getting some age on it, it was 93.
What they got for it to quarter, of course, that's all tied up.
But I think they left that there because they're thinking on using it.
You mean it problem? Yeah, that'll be part of the problem.
I'd get in that couple ways as well.
Scale?
Yeah. I mean, some of that can be, I've seen, some of them, they're just kind of a big platform you drive up on, they actually have a portable deals what they are. They got sensors and stuff on them and this and that, but what you're looking at, you want a regular certified, scale.
Well, it would have to be certified if you're charging off of it.
Oh, yeah. You're all just a little bit, somebody take you to death.
Right.
We got a tipping fee, we're gonna start seeing, untraveled roads from trash going up almost 15 years ago. How much is it? Pretty funny.
That was one of the main reasons the study was saying don't go to a tipping fee, is if you pay one fee for the entire year, you can just go to the transfer station and dump. So that was one of their unintended consequences, and as we do have a history of it, so that is one of the.
I think those are things that the committee has to be aware of, what the investment, how long it would take to transfer into something like that, stuff too. I mean, I'm still not, as long as we can collect enough sales tax, I mean, I don't think that we need to totally get away from using it could be a supplemental way, but, that's all depends on how much sales tax money, because, the Santos thing isn't cheap. And there's no alternative funding really, I mean, you can use sales tax money and property tax to do that. Solid waste, I mean, you can use user fees, you can use, which is either tipping or assessment, property tax or sales tax. I mean, that's the thing you gotta watch. And when he takes away some of our property valuation, we have to look at user fees and other kind of alternative funding sources to make up for loss in property, rather than shifting it.
I bet you if you go to a tipping fee, the businesses are gonna get a lot cheaper now, the way they're assessed, if you go to tipping fee.
Well, yeah.
Depends on what the rate you assign, and if we did say, okay, tipping fees cover 50% or 60%. If they cover 100%, yeah, the businesses will definitely take it on the chin.
Us out in the rural area get by too, because we don't have that much, I can tell you right now, I don't have that much at all, most of them get burned.
I have all 1 ounce of trash out there.
If we went to a tipping fee, how would that work for, like, say, the city of Epsom? They would just. There's another
billing process. I mean, they're gonna be, every load they bring out there, they'll get charged.
We charge them amount, and they just have to
They have to
pass it on.
figure it out.
Right.
I mean, there's probably a little inefficiency in any system you go to, because they're sure gonna cover their rears, so I'm guessing that any, whether it's a city or whether it's a commercial hall, I think that's why we sort them as on the committee, so they could share with the committee why they don't want, I mean, that's another billing process for them. And then here again, then they gotta answer to the customer, well, why are you charging me this, and so.
Well, we're having a good discussion here. I'm supposed to meet with Defenbach at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon out at the transfer station. You know, we're gonna be transitioning over to Defenbach here before too long. They wanna meet with us on, trailers and things. What about this, recycling? Right now, how can we pay $20 a ton more?
No, we're paying that now.
Send it off, and if they want to sort it, it'll already be sorted out, so if they want to take it, so do it.
Yeah, but we're paying a premium for this recycling to be hauled off. That's what, either contract we went with, there's a premium.
Yeah, but why can't you tell that guy tomorrow, we're just gonna pass it on to.
Well, that's where I was
If
getting
you-
at.
If you wanna take it, and you wanna sell it, that's fine, but we're just gonna pay for you to haul it off this.
Yes, I mean, we'd have to probably renegotiate that part of the contract, otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's what we talked about, and he sat right there and kind of grinned when I said, well, I don't see any advantage of recycling. I mean,
Well, there isn't anything in the contract that says we have to recycle.
no, that's
No.
what I'm saying.
That's very true, and we have, the city, that we're running into, problems with the, procuring the automated side loaders.
Well,
So that's getting pushed, we're no longer looking at a May 1st date, we're looking at a much, much later date, so we can.
That's another place I'm going with this, is if we decide maybe it's not worth doing it, we need to kinda let the city know, possibly, before they spend the money on all the containers.
Well, they are gonna go through with it, and, one of the, because a lot of their citizens ask for it, and it is a service. We can, I mean, the longer it gets pushed off, the more months of savings that we have, going from our current rate to our lower rate. That can cover, I mean, that'll build up some savings, but, you know, we should get our first quarter of 2013 by the end of, or the second week of April, so we'll see what it's trending.
Do you know when the city's thinking about going to recycling now? When?
Right now, we don't know,
Because that's one thing Defenbach's gonna ask me tomorrow, when we're gonna need trailers for recycling and.
yes, that, right now, it's.
Yeah, I know my answer would be bring the recycling trailers when it's profitable.
We're gonna do the way to go, if we don't, people are gonna say, oh, we're recycling, we're trying to do what's right in the county, they don't wanna pay.
Brown County don't.
And then if we don't, if we just, well, why are you paying $25 more?
Well, this is where I think, go ahead and run this by the committee, I mean, so that.
Well, that's why I wanted to fill you out, because
I
the
mean,
meeting
you know,
is tomorrow.
I mean, from an economic standpoint, you know, it doesn't bother me to just make it all. You know, particularly when I talked to Brown County, and they said they've tried to do recycling, they're paid, and so they just.
Market so set.
Yeah. I mean, if it's truly the right thing to do, then make it, let them bid those commodities up, otherwise it's grind.
I definitely think after the first year, we will be able to renegotiate, but they gave us a first year rate where, I mean, they might have to reject every, you know, fourth or fifth load
Well,
because of
that's the other
contamination.
thing, you take the rejected factor out of it when you don't have recycled load, even though I know they're gonna be real flex. That's where Waste Management had a real strict, I mean, and there's a pretty good penalty, I mean, and you gotta take, you know, it's, that was the big difference. Defenbach's gonna be pretty lenient.
I bet there's a cost to that if they reject it to it.
Yeah, there's a charge, and then they charge you for hauling it off, and they'll charge you the trash rate. So it's basically getting
Almost double.
150% of what it would have cost just to haul it off as trash. So, we will see about the first quarter, and we won't be
ready until the end of the second quarter, so we'll have two quarters of data to see, you know, where the prices are trending. If it continues to go down, while that's not explicit in the contract, we can delay the implementation of recycling, and I mean, they offered us $30 a ton, so we're gonna use that and use cost savings until.
So I guess I'm meeting with them tomorrow afternoon, so I guess for right now, just tell them there's no sense bringing a recycling trailer. I mean, it's just gonna be.
Well, too recent, we don't.
We're not ready yet.
We're not ready, because the city's recycle, and one source of recycling is not gonna happen, and so we're not, you know, and just beyond, you know, there's not enough economic value yet at this point, so, you know, and then go from there.
Take this with you, not your
I'll leave that.
That guy's, I think he's pretty good, I don't think they're.
I think we just talking about.
We're talking about 2,000.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, and here again, I mean, see, we're essentially subsidizing recycling right now. This is paying 18,000, you know, I don't know, they estimated 2.5%, so I mean, that'd be what, that'd be 250 ton, maybe 300 ton roughly.
Out of 10 or 12,000?
Well, I figured 12,000, that would be, that's 300 ton.
Okay.
So we're actually paying $60 a ton right now, for RSP. Of course, they're sorting it and manning the stations, but here again, we pay utilities and stuff like that, so. I mean, it's a better, it would still be a little better deal.
Than what we have currently.
But even better deal if we don't even know about recycling.
Well, we will see. Hopefully, the rates will rebound a little bit better, because as the rates rebound, that reinforces why we went with Best and Boss, because we're getting a little bit more cost sharing. Plus, we have the $30 a ton rate.
But I think from what I'm hearing, you know, a couple of these businesses are realizing, you know, they realize, I mean, certainly like the cardboard, that's got good value. They might as well benefit from it. I mean, if they'll furnish the service to haul it off, and they get a little something for it, or they don't have to pay to get it hauled off.
Right.
That helps us and helps them both.
One thing they did have a question, when they are going to be our contractor at the station, can they use our facilities to stage cardboard and stuff, so they can just put it off to the side until they have enough and then haul it off, as opposed to what they do right now with cardboard only recycling bins. So, if they can use the transfer station as a cardboard only or paper only kind of staging area, put it on a concrete slab, just leave it till it's big enough
Now,
that they take it.
businesses, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's for commercial only, the commercial recycling.
Well,
But
that's another part of the plan, or another part of the implementation that we'll have to consider, that we really haven't considered that, have we?
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of anything like that.
Well, the rate that I asked, because Brent, he said for like cardboard only, for 8 cubic yards, sorted materials, it's gonna run you about $34 a month, to get it picked up every 2 weeks. And he said, one thing that will help that cost, and this is just commercial only, one thing that will help that cost is if they don't have to ship it off to another county that they work with, if they can stage it here. So.
Get a whole, like, semi-load of it.
Yeah, get a whole semi-load and max